天能邀请大家来参加由秘鲁驻台北商务办事处协同凤林国际有限公司办理的品茗秘鲁的活动。那今天我们很荣幸能够邀请秘鲁国际级的侍酒师皮斯可酒教父张尼修的先生来台湾，带领大家认识皮斯可。在活动开始之前，我这里简短的介绍一下张尼修的先生。修的先生为全国最顶级的皮斯可酒权威，在2011年创立了 Pisco 果冻的品牌。对于皮斯可酒的热情，大概可以追溯到1977年。当时他担任皮斯可酒的评审，在评鉴了大概有80多种不同的皮斯可酒之后，对这种风味变化多端的葡萄蒸馏酒产生了极大的兴趣。从此之后，便致力于研究皮斯可酒。秘鲁国会甚至颁发了荣誉的奖章，表扬他杰出的成就。目前，修勒先生仍持续担任国际布鲁塞尔烈酒竞赛的评审，本身也主持拉丁美洲热门的节目《皮斯可酒决离》的节目。接下来的时间，就让我们交给周尼修勒先生来带领大家认识皮斯可酒，请大家鼓掌欢迎他。
Thank you very much. First, I want to thank you, Cámara Comercial, for the opportunity to be here. Michael and his wife, thank you very much for the invitation. I am going to share with you some of the stories and the history of what Pisco for us Peruvians really is, where it comes from, and how it is made. So, if you in any moment have any doubts or question, please interrupt. Don't be bashful and ask the questions.
Mr. Schuler 他说他今天非常高兴可以来到这边帮大家介绍关于秘鲁 Pisco 的历史，跟以及它的一些制作的一个过程。他也非常欢迎大家来到这边，可以让大家品尝到秘鲁 Pisco。然后，如果各位在过程中有任何问题，希望大家可以不用拘束，就直接问，可以直接打断他，没关系。
We have to understand that Pisco is not a new product. Pisco has been part of the life and history and tradition of Peruvians since the late or mid-1500s.
首先让大家知道 ，Pisco 其实并不是一个新的酒，它并不是刚最近才出现的酒。Pisco 在秘鲁人的生活中、历史中，其实已经可以追溯到1550年代的时候左右。
The word Pisco comes from a Quechua word. Quechua is one of the 3 official languages of Peru, and it's spoken mostly in the Andes, in the Andean part, by almost all the population of the Andes. In Quechua, Pisco means small bird.
其实 Pisco 这个字并不是西班牙文，它是秘鲁当地的一个原住民的语言，叫做凯楚阿语，主要是在安第斯山脉的部分的居民，其实应该是说整个安第斯山脉的居民，他们都会讲凯楚阿语。Pisco 在凯楚阿语的意思其实就是鸟的意思。
The word Pisco was taken by an ethnic group of the Nazca culture who lived in this valley called the Valley of the Condor, and they took the name and they became the Piscos. And they were very famous for making a pottery that had the shape of an amphora, a Greek amphora, where they used to keep the chicha, which was also called the Pisco.
其实 Pisco 这个其实是一个大家应该有听过秘鲁纳兹卡县，在纳兹卡地带有一群族群，他们被称之为 Pisco， 是因为他们非常有名的是他们是做一个陶瓷状的一个圆弧状的这样陶瓷状的一个陶器啊，因为他们也非常有名，所以他们这个陶器也被称之为 Piscos。
The name Pisco of this ethnic group gave name to a river, Rio Pisco, to a valley, the valley of Pisco, to a village, Puerto de Pisco, to the port of Pisco, that finally gave, like cognac, like champagne, like port, like Jerez, the name of the port gave the name to the spirit that was shipped from that port.
当时这一群人的存在也叫 Pisco， 所以当时附近的河流、附近的山谷也被命名叫做 Pisco 山谷。 山谷下面的河流被叫 Pisco 河流，附近的小镇也被叫做 Pisco 镇，直到河流的尾巴到大海有个港口，也被称之为 Pisco 港。这个 Pisco 港，其实 Pisco 这个酒就跟香槟一样，跟干邑白兰地一样，跟波特酒一样，跟很多以地名取名的酒一样 ，Pisco 是当时从 Pisco 港出口的酒，所以 Pisco 还被冠上 Pisco 这个名字。
The grapes, when the conquistadores, the Spanish conquistadores, come to America, they were followed by several groups of priests, the Jesuits, the Benedictines, the Mercedarians, the Franciscans. And when they arrived in America, to their surprise, they found that there was no grapes. There were no grapes in the American continent. The grapes, no grapes, but no wine in a Catholic country meant no Mass on Sunday.
当时西班牙第一批到南美洲的时候，都是很多的教师，尤其是西班牙他们是天主教国家。当天主教国家到了南美洲，发现整个南美洲都找不到葡萄，完全没有葡萄，代表说没有葡萄酒，没有葡萄酒对天主教来讲，礼拜天就不能进行礼拜，所以这是很大的问题。
So these grapes arrived from the Canary Islands around 1550, and are still the same grapes that we're using, that we're going to be tasting today. The Quebranta grape is still the original grape that was brought to America in the 1550s.
所以当时西班牙就决定自己带葡萄过去，因为当时带的是西班牙他们当地的黑葡萄，到了南美洲种下去之后，直到现在我们都还在喝那个葡萄做出来的 Pisco， 大概大家也会品尝到有那个葡萄叫做 Quebranta 所做出来的葡萄的 Pisco。
Some of the documents that I have to show and share to you is because there is a little difference between two countries over the origin or where Pisco comes from. I think some of you have had the opportunity to see that there's a country south of Peru, I'm not going to mention the name, but south of Peru, that says they produce the same product that we do. Okay, so I'm going to inform these people that they should see this map. Is from 1584. It's an original map from 1584, and Pisco is over here. And this is Peru, not the other country. All right? So I think we should end the argument, and they should read all this map and see where it originates and where it comes from.
接下来真正档案让大家看，是因为要先跟大家讲清楚一下 ，Pisco 这个酒，其实大家都知道有两个国家，他们在争夺谁才是 Pisco 的发源地。另外一个国家它在秘鲁的南边，至于是哪个国家我们就不讲。看了这张地图，中间那一块，他刚刚指的那一块，其实就是 Pisco 港。这个地图是秘鲁地图，所以毋庸置疑 ，Pisco 是从秘鲁的 Pisco 港出来的，所以发源地一定是秘鲁，不是南方那个国家。
So we have a lot of documents. Fortunately, we have a lot of documents that testify to that. Very interesting, among the documents we have found, Lorenzo Huertas, one of the historians, has also found this document of the first document is a will of Pedro Manuel el Griego, the Greek, who dies, and in his will in 1613 leaves the first copper pot still in any documentation ever found in all of America. So we can say he died in 1613, he must have been producing Pisco before that, so we could say Pisco started at the end of the 1500s.
接下来是一个非常有趣的一个文献，也是几乎是 Pisco 出现最早的一个文献，就是说，在当时1613年的时候，有一个人叫做佩卓，他号称是希腊人，他的绰号叫希腊人。他当时有这个图案，大家看到，这是号称是全美洲整个美洲第一座蒸馏器。第一座蒸馏器，他当时是他的遗嘱，是希望这个蒸馏器可以被保存下来，以后可以继续做 Pisco。所以可以证明1613年之前，其实就已经有在做 Pisco 了。
We have several documents that are very important that we have to show. In this document of 1615, Guamán Poma de Ayala talks about this said village of Piscuy is a pretty village by the sea. This is 1615 and the city of Pisco already existed. Just for your information, the city of Pisco in the other country was founded in 1936.
这个也是，其实这些文献都非常重要，一定要让大家知道，这个是历史记载，1615年的时候，其实就已经有一个文献记载，这个临近海边的 Pisco 镇非常漂亮。Pisco 虽然说不太一样，可是它指的就是 Pisco， 所以我们可以讲，1615年的时候 Pisco 就出现在秘鲁，但是南方的那个国家 Pisco 出现的时候是在1936年，他们把一个小镇改名为 Pisco 镇，所以相差将近300年。300年前秘鲁就有 Pisco 这个镇。
So as yes sir. Pedro Manuel was from Greece, from Corfu, Greece. He was a Greek citizen who made Pisco in Ica. So with that, we have all the documents that I wanted to share with you, just because I want to put the history where it has to be, right?
我之所以跟大家，就是他之所以跟大家介绍这么多历史文献，只是说他要跟大家澄清，这个就是 Pisco 的历史，事实上就是这个样子。
So now we're going to talk about the product itself. I think this is the most interesting part for all of you, and what Pisco, where it comes from, how it's made, everything else.
现在大家看个地图，他是要让大家知道说 Pisco 到底是在哪里制作的。
I was part of the group that 30 years ago created the denomination of origin for Pisco. So we made the norms, and it begins saying that Pisco is the product obtained from the distillation of freshly fermented wine.
其实30年前，舒尔先生他就已经有参与开会，而定下了 Pisco 的许多，到现在都还是适用的规则。当时其中的规则就是 Pisco 一定是要用新鲜发酵的葡萄汁，也就是葡萄酒，新鲜刚发酵完的葡萄酒去制作 Pisco。
This wine has to be produced from 8 different grapes that have to be grown in the coastal valleys of these 5 states: Lima, Ica, Arequipa, Moquegua, and Tacna.
而且这些葡萄一定是要在秘鲁的海岸线的这5个都市种出来的，而且 Pisco 的葡萄种类一定要是在法定规定的8种之内。
Pisco cannot be made. Peru is a very large country, but Pisco cannot be made in the rest. But it cannot be made in the Andes of Arequipa, nor in the Andes of Lima, because the coast is very thin. So this is the only place where it's big is in Ica, where there's a desert. Otherwise, the coast is only about, I would say, no more than 10 kilometers, or less than 10 kilometers wide.
在这5个都市里面，其实有利马跟阿雷基巴，就是下面第3个，这2个都市的内侧其实都被安第斯山脉给占据。可是 Pisco 不可以在安第斯山脉上面种，因为 Pisco 的葡萄不可以在安第斯山脉上面种，所以这2个国家其实他们的海岸线能够种 Pisco 大概就只有10公里宽的一个大小，所以非常少。可是伊卡第2个城市，它却是一整片的沙漠，却非常适合种葡萄。
All this because there is a special climatic terroir, like the French wines. There's a special climatic condition. Terroir means that there's special, the heat of the sun, the type of the soil, the quality of the water, the hand, the traditional hand of the old producers. All this turns into terroir. And the terroir in these valleys that we showed is the same, and it's different from the rest of the country.
要制作 Pisco 其实有非常多的一些要素，基本上你要有足够的阳光，你要种葡萄，你要有足够的阳光，土地里面要有丰厚的养分，然后再来就是你要需要一些对于种葡萄非常熟悉的一些老农民，他们可以去顾这些葡萄。刚好这5个都市都培养出非常非常好的这些条件。
What makes this area very special? This picture is one of my 4 vineyards. But if you see the background, this is the foothill of the Andes. The Andes go up to 7,000 meters height. So we're looking towards the Andes. The cloud cover from the Andes doesn't come over this side, so it never rains. here. As you can see in the mountains, this all are sand dunes. It's a desert.
大家看到这个照片，这个照片是休尔先生他4个葡萄园其中的一个葡萄园的照片。大家可以看到后面是安第斯山脉的山脚啊，整片其实是全部都是沙漠，不是沙子。安第斯山脉再往上的话，可以到6、7千公尺高，云过不来这边，所以这边几乎是完全不会下雨的地方。
The picture in the middle over here, you can see this isn't an oasis, a real oasis. It's called Huacachina. It's very close to where we are. It's in the middle of the desert. There's a lake. This is not built by Disneyland. This is real. This is a real oasis in the middle of the desert. So there's water underneath.
大家可以看到左边第2个图片，它其实是一个沙漠绿洲，它叫做瓦契格。大家注意看，它其实是真的一个绿洲，它并不是迪士尼乐园跑去那边盖一个乐园。它下面是有水，是有湖，有饭店，这是一个大家可以称是一个奇迹的地方。
So in this region, then we can grow 8 different grapes: Quebranta, Italia, Mollar, Torontel, Albilla, Moscatel, Negra Criolla, and Uvina. These are the only grapes that we can use. We cannot use Cabernet Sauvignon, we cannot use Malbec, we cannot use Merlot, we cannot use Sauvignon Blanc, we cannot use none of the winemaking grapes, you know. Although these are vitis viniferas, we can make, if we want, a finished wine. We don't. What we do is we make a fresh wine, and that we distill, right?
秘鲁其实葡萄种规定就是大家可以看到是8种，最左边的是我们最常用到的库班达葡萄，也就是给布兰达葡萄。这8种其实在台湾非常少见，也没有中文翻译的名字，非常少的中文翻译，顶多只有麝香葡萄、意大利葡萄会比较常见。这些葡萄其实都可以拿来做成熟的葡萄酒。秘鲁其实也产很多葡萄酒，但是他们会把它拿来做成 Pisco。
Okay, now we're going to talk about the process. And here's what, once we have all this, the region, the terroir, the grapes, the climate condition, no rain, it never rains, etc., we begin the process.
接下来我们要谈到我们如何制作 Pisco， 这地方都非常的干燥，其实就是等于沙漠地带，都完全不会下雨。
Most of the countries that produce, all the countries that produce wine, will take the wine, will take the grapes, will crush the grapes, will make the must, will ferment the must, will turn it into wine, and will make a finished product, wine.
所有制作葡萄酒的国家，他们都会先把新鲜的葡萄拿去压，压完之后做出来的葡萄浆再拿去发酵，发酵完拿去熬酒，变成一个葡萄酒的一个产品。
With the leftovers, the skins, the stems, the pits, which is called pomace, all the leftover is put in a pail again. They put in water, they add yeast, they ferment, and they distill. That, in Italy, is called grappa.
剩下的葡萄渣，很多人会把它放在一个钢盆里面，然后再放水加酵母，然后再重新发酵，再让它蒸馏一次。这个我们俗称渣酿白兰地，用葡萄渣去酿。在意大利的话，这个就会叫做 grappa。
In Spain, it's called Orujo de Galicia. In France, it's called Mar de Bourgogne. In Greece, it's called Sipuro. In Germany, it's called Dresden. In Portugal, it's called Queimada. Every country has one. They all produce something with a leftover. We, in Peru, take the grapes, crush the grapes, ferment with natural wild yeast, turn it into a fresh wine, and this is what we take to the stills. Pisco is not distilled from pomace. Pisco, like cognac, armagnac, and brandy Jerez, is distilled from wine.
其实很多国家，比如说西班牙、法国、葡萄牙，他们其实都会做自己的渣酿白兰地，它的名字都各个有不同。但是我们的 Pisco 是像干邑白兰地、像亚麻意大白兰地一样，都是拿新鲜的葡萄酒拿去做成 Pisco， 拿去做成烈酒。
Most of the spirits that you bartenders have in the back bar, gin, rum, vodka, tequila, the distiller like me will take his product and distill it to a very high proof, 68, 70 degrees, passing it twice through a still or in a column to reach the alcoholic level of 68 or 70 degrees of alcohol. To bring it down to the percentage of alcohol that it has in the bottle, 40, 41, they have to add water. That is the way gin, whiskey, bourbon, tequila, everything is made. It's the normal way of making a spirit.
像很多我们去酒吧看到后面有很多很多的瓶子，像 gin、伏特加、朗姆酒、whisky、波本，其实他们都是利用蒸馏师，其实都是利用2次蒸馏，甚至用连续式蒸馏器蒸馏到68度、70度，蒸馏到很高的浓度之后，他们会再加水稀释下来到他们厂商规定，比如说他们是要做40%的产品、41%、42%的产品，这一切都是要经过水。
In Peru, those three things are against the law.
在秘鲁呢，其实用渣、加水、用过橡木桶都是完全不行的。
So we cannot make pisco from pomace. We cannot use water to dilute the product, and we cannot put it into wood to change the aromatic structure, like cognac or armagnac.
在秘鲁，我们不可以用葡萄渣，不可以用剩下的渣去做成葡萄酒，然后再拿去做成 Pisco。我们也不能用水去稀释蒸馏出来的 Pisco。再来，我们也不可以像干伊白兰地或者是亚麻伊白兰地，利用橡木桶去改变它的味道以及色泽。
So we are made from fresh wine. We are distilled to proof, no water added, and we are kept in concrete cubas de guarda, they're called, lined with a special material inside that will not change color, taste, flavor, or aroma.
所以秘鲁的 Pisco 其实就是我们是利用葡萄酒，是新鲜的葡萄酒下去蒸馏。蒸馏的过程中，第二，我们是一次蒸馏就要达到我们想要的浓度。第三，我们不是用橡木桶，我们是用水泥容器，里面是非常特别秘鲁传统的一些水泥的素材来存放我们的 Pisco， 它完全不会改变味道以及颜色。
So all this goes to show you that Pisco is a very, very singular, original, different spirit.
这些加起来就让你知道 Pisco 其实是个非常单纯、纯净、非常独创的一种酒类。
With all that, those 8 grapes in those 5 regions, in those 40-some valleys, we can make 3 types of Piscos.
在我刚刚现在刚刚讲了那么多的一些规定，那么多产地的一个规定，制作上的规定，最终我们可以做3种不一样的 Pisco。
The first type, Piscos puros. Pisco puro, in Spanish, puro means pure. But in this case, puro means it's made 100% from each one of the 8 different grapes.
Pisco puro 这个字在西班牙文其实是代表很纯的意思。可是在这里代表说 puro 是代表说每一种 Pisco， 比如说你是 puro que planta， 它就是100%的库班达葡萄，每一种的 puro 就是每一种的100%，就是100%的葡萄制作成的 Pisco。
But it also, and more important, designates a category of piscos, puros, which means that it's distilled when fermentation has been completed. The wine goes into the still dry.
这其实也是一个非常重要的一点，它其实也是 Pisco 的一种分类，而不是代表说它是很纯某一种葡萄的 Pisco， 它代表的是说它在葡萄发酵的过程中是将糖分完全发酵成不甜的红酒才拿去蒸馏。
Dry meaning that it has no more sugar, right? Like a good dry wine, completely dry. The yeast consumed all the sugar, you have all the potential alcohol, the wine is dry.
Dry 这个地方其实并不是干的意思，是 完全没有糖的意思，就像 dry 的红酒代表说是完全不甜的红酒。酵母它会将糖分完全消化成酒精，所以 dry 这个时候是代表说完全不甜。
The second category is called Mosto Verde. Mosto Verde translation is green must. It really means that the wine has not completed fermentation. The wine is taken to the still when it's still sweet.
第二种种类是叫做 Pisco Mosto Verde。Mosto Verde 的意思其实 Mosto 是葡萄浆的意思 ，Verde 是绿色的意思，所以它其实是讲绿色的葡萄浆。这代表什么呢？代表说是葡萄汁刚榨出来的时候，发酵的过程中是不完全把糖分发酵完。葡萄酒里面其实是微甜，是有糖分的时候就直接拿去蒸馏。
And you can make a Mosto Verde 100% of one of each of the 8 grapes.
你用 Mosto Verde 用半发酵的这种方式，你也可以把每一种葡萄，8种葡萄里面每一种葡萄拿来做成半发酵的方式。
The third category is called acholado, in the style of the cholo, blended, mixed. So the distiller can take Quebranta 50%, Torontel 25%, Alvilla 25%, and make his acholado of Mosto Verde. Or he can take 20% of Quebranta, 20% of Mollar, 20% of Torontel, so and so, and make his Pisco acholado of puros. He can blend Mosto Verdes or he can blend puros.
第三种 Pisco 是叫做 Pisco Acholado。Acholado 的意思代表说是混合的意思，所以蒸馏师可以将 Mosto Verde 半发酵的 Pisco， 它可以取20%的库班达葡萄，然后或者是用意大利葡萄50%，用麝香葡萄30%来打成100%，或者是它可以用 Pisco Puro 就是全发酵，也可以取库班达80%，然后意大利20%，这样子它可以自己去混它想要的比例，它这个是没有限制的。
Okay, so I'm going to try to put a graphic here to explain how it works. The sugar comes in from the field, the grape comes in from the field with about 24.5-25 degrees of sweetness, of sugar, natural sugar. It is about 24 degrees Brix, about 13.5 Beaumet. These are measurements to measure just the saccharose, the sucrose, the amount of sugar inside the grape, right? So it's brought in, and it's the only thing we do is we take the stems out, and we throw that sweet grape into the tank to begin fermentation with natural wild yeasts.
现在我要用Schuler 现在用图片来帮大家解释一下它是怎么制作。比如说，首先我们先将刚刚采集下来的新鲜葡萄，这些葡萄甜度非常的甜，有到24个 Brix， 24度的甜分，甚至有些会到24.5。然后他们拿这些葡萄一开始会先去梗，利用去梗机将梗稍微拔掉，稍微被压迫一点，然后全部丢到桶子里面，让它开始发酵。
So the yeast begins to consume the sugar, and it goes from 13 to 12 to 11 to 10. As it goes down, the yeast is converting the molecule of sugar into half a molecule of carbon dioxide, which is the bubbles, and half a molecule of alcohol. As it comes down, and it has less sugar and more alcohol, less sugar and more alcohol, it reaches about 20% sugar left over. I will open the valve. I'm not stopping fermentation. I open the valve, I take the sweet wine to the still, and I make Mosto Verde.
接下来会利用自然落菌的方法，让酵母菌慢慢的吃糖分，慢慢把糖分，比如说一个单位的糖分会分成半个单位的二氧化碳，剩下会慢慢的做成酒精，慢慢吃下来，直到2.8单位的甜度的时候，它会再把水龙头打开，把里面葡萄酒全部拉出来。但是它并没有停止发酵过程，它继续让它发酵，就一直让它走，一直让它走，走出来之后就会变成蒸馏完之后就变成桌上的那2瓶方瓶的 Pisco Mosto Verde， 它这是半发酵的 Pisco。
I close the valve. It's still fermenting. I let the yeast consume the rest of the sugar. Completely dry. There's no more sugar. The yeast dies. I open the valve. I take it to the still, and I make
到完全没有糖分的时候，酵母会死亡。剩下的完全没有糖分的葡萄酒，它会把它拿出来做成桌上左边那一瓶细瓶的 Pisco Puro， 也就是完全发酵的 Pisco。
So it's not a different quality. It's not a different grape. The only thing is a different process. It's the same ultra premium, the same best quality, but it's a different process of distillation. One is distilled when it's dry, one is distilled when it's sweet, right?
所以这两种酒，你看桌面上这两种，其实它们两个并差别只是在于它制作过程，葡萄种都一样，也没有说哪个比较优质，哪个比较劣质，它差别就只是在于它里面是有糖还是没有糖的关系而已。
So to make one bottle of puro, the one on the left, I need 4 kilos of grapes.
要制作一瓶左边那一瓶细瓶的全发酵 Pisco， 那一瓶750ml 里面也会需要用到4公斤的葡萄。
And to make a bottle of Mosto Verde, I need almost 10 kilos of grapes. For each bottle.
每一瓶右手边那两瓶的方瓶的，它是半发酵，每一瓶它需要用到将近10公斤的葡萄。
Right, so this is what the technical part of Pisco and how it's made. You can see that in Peru we have thousands of varieties of Piscos.
所以刚刚提到那边就是到此为止，就是关于比较技术性方面的 Pisco 的做法。大家可以看到这张图片上面，其实秘鲁有好几百、好几千种不一样的 Pisco。
So to refresh, just to refresh, the singularity of Pisco between rum, gin, vodka, tequila is that it is made 100% from wine like a cognac or like an armagnac. It's distilled to proof like none other spirit. It's single small batch distillation in French copper pot stills, and it's not aged in wood. That is Pisco.
帮大家再重新复习一下，我们 Pisco 是利用100%新鲜的葡萄酒，这跟干伊白兰地跟亚麻伊白兰地其实非常像的。再来就是第二点，我们是一次蒸馏，完全不加水，世界上几乎很少能够找到完全一滴水都不加的烈酒。第三，我们是用小批次的法式的壶式蒸馏器，铜制的壶式蒸馏器下去蒸馏的。第四点，我们是利用完全不改变颜色以及味道的口器去陈年，这就是 Pisco。
Now I'm going to take a visit to my distillery.
现在带大家逛一下Sugar先生他的蒸馏厂跟他的整个庄园。
Portón means big door, big gate, and this is the entrance to our distillery. Original.
Portón 它这个西班牙文的意思就是大门，大家可以看到图片上的大门。这个大门其实是这座庄园原始的入口，它的入口其实就是长这样。
We are very proud that we have a combination of old and new. When I wrote my first book, I've written 3 books on Pisco, I found 30 years ago, I visited this distillery, and when I was writing the book and doing the research, I found this document.
当时30年前 ，Sugar 先生开始写书，他到现在总共写了3本。他30年前造访的这一个庄园的时候，他当时在他的书里面写下了这一段。
This original document exists in the archives of Ica, dated October 14, 1684. The country in the south didn't exist in 1684.
当时他在写这本书的时候，他发现了这个文献。这个文献写说，这一个庄园记载时间1684年10月14号。当时南方的那个国家还没有成立，还没有那个国家的出现。
In this document, what you find is that Mr. Roque de Caravedo buys from his father-in-law, Facundo de Rebata, a vineyard, viña, bodega, lagar, puntalla, slaves, aperos, horses, cepas, wines, the works. In 14th of October of 1684, Destilería La Caravedo was already producing Pisco.
这个文献里面写的是说，有一个叫加勒维多先生，他向他的岳父叫做雷巴达先生买下了这个庄园，里面的条件是里面要有葡萄酒，再来还要制作 Pisco 的任何的所有的器具，还有马，还有奴隶，就是那个工人，全部的东西他都要，所以这代表着说，他那个时候就已经有在做 Pisco。
So with this document, we prove that Destilería La Caravedo is the oldest working distillery in North, Central, and South America.
有那份文献就可以证明，这一座客家庄园，这个酒庄名字像我们是取名叫客家庄园，它是目前为止还在运行中的蒸馏厂里面，是全美洲最古老的一座，还正在运行中的蒸馏厂。
So we have a lot of history, and we still use it.
所以这个庄园蒸馏厂葡萄庄园非常的古老，而且还正在使用中。
Harry, look at that. These are falgas. These are very primitive distillation apparatus made of copper.
这个蒸馏器叫做 falgas， 它是拼作 FALCA， 然后它3座会加 S， 它是非常原始、非常传统，而且到现在还是可以制作 Pisco 的蒸馏器，是秘鲁当地非常传统的蒸馏器，跟大家看到的其实会不太一样。大家看到都是有导管，还是没有导管的。
The wine, the grapes that are pressed over here, macerated and fermented, come through a ditch in the garden, an open ditch, which is this one, that brings the wine to the stills.
刚刚那张图片大家可以看到，那一座建筑物其实是拿来采葡萄，是压榨葡萄的地方，是古代1684年那个时候他们压榨葡萄的地方。当时在花园那边会有一个沟，会有一个渠沟，葡萄汁就流，经过发酵之后就会流到这个地方，左边有一条沟，这边就会开始直接进入到这3座的蒸馏器里面。
Here you can see a picture of the old botija that the Piscos used to make. This is an original Pisco botija.
大家可以看到右上角那个陶瓷形状的那个陶瓷的那个有点像陀螺，很长的陀螺的形状，那个就是当时我们刚开始提到的 Pisco 是个族人他们制作的陶器的形状，那个至少有200-300年的历史，那一个瓷器。
So what did we do? We bought that was from 1684, and now we have the most modern distillery in Peru.
徐尔他们做的是，他们当时把1684年的这个庄园把它买下来，这个葡萄庄园跟蒸馏厂买下来。他们在2016年的时候盖了一个完全新的秘鲁最现代的 Pisco 的蒸馏厂。
Copper pot stills, these are specially designed for us in Germany, the classical French style, the more modern. These are run by steam. The other ones were run by wood, by fire. We have a capacity of 2.5 million liters production in that facility.
这是我们从德国那边买进来的法式的蒸馏器，铜制的蒸馏器，它的效果，它的其实运作原理跟像这法国的白兰地的蒸馏器是一模一样的。它这个我们每年可以做250万公升的 Pisco， 就光这4台。
So you see, what I like to call my distillery, I like to call it techno-artisanal.
所以我们这个庄园，所有人喜欢他们叫做是有艺术又兼具科技的一座庄园的一个蒸馏厂。
I have 43 30,000 liter stainless steel tanks with jackets to cool, and I have 24 50,000 liter cubas de guarda.
它有33个中间的不锈钢桶，里面每个都可以装到3300公升。右边2个是陈年 Pisco 的地方，它里面可以装上5万，每一个里面可以装上5万公升的 Pisco， 它总共有24个。
You can see up here that we have some very thick steel. They're about 45 centimeters wide, and they are about 25, 30 centimeters deep. Could anybody give me an idea of what they think they are?
图片上面大家可以看到很多一条一条的很像的那个，它其实是铁架，它大概这么宽，大概30公分宽，然后它大概50公分宽，然后30公分深。大家有任何的想法，那个会是拿来干嘛？大家可以如果有想法可以直接回答，没关系。
Huh? No.
还有人有想法吗？
They are flower pots.
它是拿来种花的。
Vegetation. Why? Harry, why? Why do I have vegetation over the top of my tanks?
他说为什么上面要种花？
What's happening here, Harry?
下面发生什么事？
Fermentation.
正在发酵。
What do I have? CO2. What does the plant do? It's food for the plant. And what does the plant give me? Oxygen. No flower.
他说
Oxygen.
在发酵的过程中，桶子里面的葡萄在发酵的时候会制造二氧化碳，二氧化碳会往上跑，那些花就进行光合作用。反之的就会让整座里面全部都充满氧气。
It's called a Sansevieria, and the NASA says that everybody should have a plant of Sansevieria at home because it's the best air filter that exists.
除了刚才提到的Sansevieria是一种花，他说有很多研究有证实说那种花其实是最容易也是最好的进行光合作用的植物。他希望大家有机会家里可以买一个。
So it's one of the many things that we do to protect the environment.
这是其中一项，他们酒庄会做来保护环境的其中的一项而已。
Here you have a view of one of the old gates that leads into one of the vineyards.
这个图片是其中一个比较古老，当时古代的通往葡萄园的大门。
Uva quebranta, which we're going to drink now, it's still green. This must have been early January. By March, all these grapes are black.
现在图片上大家可以看到右下角有一些青绿色的葡萄，这些全部都是库班达葡萄。这个大概是1月中的时候，他们还没成熟的时候的照片，他们还是绿色的。当3月的时候成熟的时候，他们全部都变黑色。
And this is the house. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 45. We all fit in there.
这是他们庄园里面的房子，大家现场40几位人都可以进去住，里面绝对装得下大家。
You're welcome to come anytime
你们想来都非常欢迎你
to
们。
come and spend a few days with us. So, we are going to do now is we're going to start drinking. Now we're bored of listening to me, so we're going to start drinking. Can we pour first the quebranta? Do we have any more research? No. 5-minute break and everybody gets a pisco. Great.
大家先休息一下。
Start drinking.
我们 Stuart 现在刚帮大家解说完 Pisco， 那现在准备要进入到我们品饮的这个部分，所以大家先稍休息一下，我们现场会有人帮大家准备 Pisco。
No, me voy por Los Ángeles.
Ah, ya. Son esos los dos directos.
Una foto.
A ver, el famoso Johnny Schuller.
1, 2, 3. Muy bien, gracias.
Una para mi colección.
Sí. Ok, sí. Que viene acá. No.
Igual de confianza. Igual de confianza. No, pero bien, te van a servir. Entonces,
De ahí fútbol.
不是现场的，当然还方便了，是在交接的时候。
我们即将进入下一个阶段，请现场朋友陆续就座，谢谢。在下一场活动开始之前，我们先请秘鲁驻台北商务办事处的代表贝勒给拉先生帮我们谈谈。
After more than 25 hours traveling, but I have to come so I could be able to finally meet with Johnny Schuller. As you know, Johnny Schuller is a very, very famous Peruvian who's promoting most of the wonderful, delicious drinks, food. He's a very well-known entrepreneur, so we are really, really pleased, and I think it's a privilege to have him here with us this afternoon. Please receive a hand for him. To talk about Jimmy Schuller and all the tradition that comes with his family, even to talk about the most popular dish in Peru, which is the charcoal chicken. When his father started to think about the crazy idea of selling people chicken cooked a little bit far away from Peru, no one believed that this could become, many years later, the most famous dish. Talk about, if you mention about Pisco, there's a long tradition about what they have done in order to promote Pisco, not only in Peru, but in Latin America, Europe, and other parts of the world. I want to thank you very much for all the entrepreneurs here in Taiwan who are helping us, Taiwanese people, learn about this drink. As you know, it's not easy to introduce a drink that's different, so people could taste what are the wonderful things that Peru can bring to us. And I want to thank you very much to the hotel, to the barman, to all the hotels, restaurants that are related to Pisco. We want Pisco to be a popular drink here in Taiwan and Asia, and we're very, very grateful as the commercial office in Peru to become your partners in whatever you need in order to make this drink become even more popular. I want to thank you again for my staff. I think I have the most wonderful team from all the commercial offices in Peru, not only from Peru, in many parts of the world. I want to thank Patty, Flora, and Tomas, because I'm very lucky to have have them as part of my team. In Peru, we call when we're too little, 4 cats, cuatro gatos. But in our case, we want to call us the Fantastic Four, because I'm very pleased to have these people as part of my team. Thank you again for being here, and I want to welcome you so you can visit Peru and taste not only pisco, but all the wonderful dishes and cuisine that we can offer to the world. Thank you so much.
这一排的最偏边的人前面应该会有一个公杯，麻烦大家先往下传，然后请倒在你们桌上3个杯子最左边那一杯。在你们桌上的3杯酒倒在最左边的那一杯，再慢慢往下传。会有不够的吗？
Okay, I hope, do we all have our glasses ready? No, not yet? There's no more finished. Who's drinking it all? All right, don't drink yet because I want to take you through this. Follow me, and we're going to apply some of the norms that here we have to understand the product.
大家先不要喝，舒尔先生他亲自带你们如何去品尝，然后有一些规矩，他自己觉得的一些要如何品 Pisco 的规矩，他带大家来喝。
Don't forget first that it is 41% of alcohol, so it's very strong.
先记得它毕竟是烈酒，它有41度，它是非常烈的酒。
All right, the norm says that Pisco cannot touch wood, right? So it has to be completely transparent. Completely transparent. If you put a glass of Pisco next to a glass of water, you're going to see that the water is opaque. Pisco has a light. It shines. There's a little light.
我们要先记得 Pisco 它是完全不能够像那种，它的颜色一定是透明的，是一定要是透明的，它不会有别的颜色。如果你旁边放一杯水，你会发现水的色泽没有那么漂亮，是反而比较暗淡的色泽。可是 Pisco 的色泽却是非常的亮，非常的闪亮的一个色泽。
All right. So then, once we put it, we've seen it, we've looked at it, and we see it's clean. That has no particles inside. It's completely transparent. It shines. We're going to take it to the nose. In the nose, we're going to refer to fruits, flowers, species, everything that is nice.
在大家确定看完它的颜色色泽，也转一转，发现它真的就是完全透明之后，我们要来带到它的香气，要带到鼻尖来，我们会发现所有的东西都是像水果，或者是像巧克力这种非常好的香气。
Piscos have certain defects that are very important to notice. Piscos can smell like acetone, nail polish remover.
Pisco 有一些劣质的 Pisco， 它会有一些非常明显的味道，其中一个味道会最明显的是去光水。你们就是有擦指甲油，女生在要去指甲油的时候，那个去光水的味道。
There are Piscos that smell like burnt rubber.
有些 Pisco 会闻起来的味道是像烧焦的橡胶，就是烧橡胶的味道。
There are Piscos that smell like a pee-pee of the cat.
有一些 Pisco 的味道会像猫的尿一样的味道。
And there are Piscos that smell like baby burp.
有些 Pisco 味道会像小孩子吐的味道。
Piscos have to smell the flowers, fruits, spices.
Pisco 就是要你喝到里面的花、水果、花花果果的味道，是香的味道。
So a taster will take it in 2 steps. The first one, when you take it out, is to see if it's too aggressive or not in the nose, the alcohol.
一个品酒师他品酒的时候会有2个阶段，第一个是先拿来鼻子前面闻一下，马上拿开，他会看这个酒对鼻子会不会太刺激。
Pisco cannot be aggressive. It has to be balanced between the alcohol and the aromatics.
Pisco 绝对不可以对鼻子很刺激，它一定要非常的平衡，要在酒精跟香气中间找到一个平衡。
Now you're all tasters, so it's not what I find in the Pisco, it's what you find in the Pisco. If there's something you don't like, don't drink it.
大家在场其实都应该是有在喝酒的人士，所以你们并不是以他的角度来看 Pisco， 而是以你们自己的角度来看 Pisco。如果你们觉得这个 Pisco 有不喜欢的味道，或是你讨厌的东西，那就不要喝，没关系。
This is a puro of Quebranta grape. Quebranta is the least aromatic of the 8 grapes. But in this, I smell grass, freshly cut grass, hay, straw, a little bit of chocolate on the sides, a little bit of white raisins, a little bit of mineral.
你们现在喝的这款 Pisco， 它是用 Quebranta， 用库班达葡萄，它其实是最没有香气的一种葡萄，在8种葡萄里面是最没有香气的一种葡萄。徐伟先生在里面发现到有草的味道，有稻草的味道，有一点点巧克力，然后再还有一点点白葡萄干的味道，然后再是一种有点像矿物质的味道。
So once we've established that the Pisco has no faults, that it's clean, we take it to the mouth.
当你们观察 Pisco 闻过之后，你发现它是香的还是干净的之后，确认没有问题，就把它放到嘴巴，就喝它。
And it normally makes a very nice sound like
通常喝完的声音就会像巨人刚刚的声音一样，会有长叹的声音。
very soft, very smooth. It is 41% alcohol, and it passes really, really very soft.
它是一个很柔和、非常柔和的一种酒。它虽然41度，可是它经过喉咙的时候是非常的柔，非常的顺。
What we're tasting right now is Pisco Puro de Quebranta La Caravedo. This Pisco we have every year in Peru, the national, the regional, and the national Pisco championships. Don't forget there are 480 distilleries in Peru that make 6 or 7 different Piscos each. So there's several thousand samples.
大家现在喝到的是这一瓶，它是加勒维多皮斯克，它是采用全发酵，刚才有提过全发酵的方法，以及它是用库班达葡萄下去做的 Pisco。每一年在秘鲁，它永远都是冠军，它是 Pisco Puro 的冠军。秘鲁当地不要忘记有480间蒸馏厂，每一间蒸馏厂都会有6到7种 Pisco， 所以基本上每一年要品的时候，都是至少有上千杯的 Pisco 在那边。
This Pisco that Michael and Jonathan are bringing here is last year's national grand champion in the category. The best Pisco Puro de Quebranta of the country.
我们进口进来的这一支，就是你现在大家喝到的这一支，它去年2015年是在 Pisco Puro 给班的，就是库班达全发酵的 Pisco 里面是最高奖项。
And I need a little bit more because my samples are too short and I like to drink. So this is what you do, right? We went to the nose, we smelled it. It has very nice aroma, it's a little chocolate. Now it opens up if you let it go. First of all, for me, Pisco is not a drink that you want to drink bottoms up. Please don't shoot Pisco. Shoot yourself, but don't shoot Pisco. Pisco is for conversation. Pisco is for friendship. Pisco is to sip. And last night, Jonathan and I went to Ben's place and lit up a cigar with a glass of Pisco, and it is absolutely a perfect combination.
Pisco 其实你让它开瓶之后，你让它倒到杯子里面，让它静一下，让它过一下空气，它味道又会开放，会有更多香气出来。Pisco 徐伟先生提醒，不要拿来靠下，不要拿来干杯，一口气把它喝掉。Pisco 是拿来慢饮的，是跟朋友聊天的时候慢慢喝，是拿来喝小酌，一小口一小口的。
This not only won the National Grand Championship, but this year in San Francisco Spirits Competition, the World Spirits Competition, it won a double gold medal. Double gold medal. this that we're drinking. It's not any Pisco. I'm sorry, it's mine. I'm very proud of it, but it is the best.
今年旧金山的世界烈酒竞赛，这一支你们现在喝的这支 Pisco 拿到双金牌的荣耀。休尔先生说，他虽然这是他自己的酒，可是他非常非常骄傲，他也可以肯定这一支是 Pisco 波里面最好、最顶尖的 Pisco。
So can we serve now the Mosto Verde? What we're going to do is don't finish.
先不要
You're good on the first one because I want you to compare. Don't forget, we said that Puro Quebranta that we just had is a Pisco distilled when the wine is dry. This one is distilled when the wine is sweet. It's the same grape from the same vineyard, but I want you to notice the difference in the products.
因为今天公杯比较少，比较不够，所以没关系，我们直接把整个酒瓶传下去，也可以让大家摸一下那个酒瓶的质感、那个重量。现在的开始一样，像刚刚那样子，由第一排往后往左边传，传完之后往后面一排，再往右边传过来。记得刚刚第一杯不要喝完哦，因为待会休尔先生要带大家去比较一下这一支跟你们刚刚喝的那一支的差别。请大家倒在中间那一瓶，在中间的那个杯子。 这是第二杯，其实这个瓶子相当的重，相当的非常有质感。
The important thing, the exercise we're going to do now is that we're going to taste 2 different piscos that are made from the same grape, from the same vineyard, from the same distillery, from the same tank, from the same still. But you're going to notice what I want you to appreciate is the difference between a Pisco Puro and a Pisco Mosto Verde of the same grape.
那大家要比较的点是说，这两支葡萄虽然是同一种葡萄，同一个发酵槽出来的，同一种制作方式，就只差在一个是半发酵，一个是全发酵，压制过程都一样。这两个差别差在哪里？
I'm the only one that doesn't have one. Of course. Thank you. Are we good? Everybody has some? Now the first thing is, before you drink it, smell it, twirl it around, move it around, smell it, put it down, and smell the first glass.
现在休尔兄大家做的是先将第二杯拿起来，就是刚刚倒的那一杯闻一下，转一转，看一下色泽，闻完之后再回去闻刚刚第一杯。
Do you find the difference?
对，有感觉出差别吗？
Right, there is a difference, right? So this is what that miracle of that, what we were arguing, how can it feel that it's sweeter if steam boiling doesn't lift up sugar, just vapors?
有些人会真的说，哎，你里面含糖跟不含糖，你过蒸馏之后，其实照理讲糖是过不去，糖只会蒸馏只会把蒸汽给带过去而已。可是你们现在闻就可以闻出它那个差别是差在哪里。
Now the first one we had, Puro Quebranta, is 41% alcohol. This one is 43% alcohol. So now we smelled it. Let's taste it.
第一杯是41%，现在喝的第二杯是43%，现在大家可以品尝一下。
Smoother than the first, right? More alcohol, but it's rounder.
应该会比第一杯还要顺口，吞下去的时候，喉咙的感觉应该会更柔和。虽然说它的酒精浓度比较高，可是它整个喝起来是比较圆润的，喝下去的感觉是比较顺口的。
This is why a Mosto Verde is an ultra premium Pisco. It's not a normal pisco. It's the most expensive. I am the most expensive pisco in Peru, but the category is the most expensive because you do need 10 kilos of grapes to make one of those bottles.
这就是为什么半发酵的 Pisco、Mosto Verde 的 Pisco 会在所有 Pisco 种类里面是排在最高位的，价位也是。修尔刚才也承认，他的 Pisco 在秘鲁是最高价位的 Pisco。它可是整个种类来讲 ，Mosto Verde 半发酵的 Pisco 在 Pisco 全部的种类里面，它是排在最高的一种 Pisco。
And I'm sorry to exaggerate, and I'm going to. I know I should be more meek, but this one also won the gold medal in the national championship.
薛尔先生说：“不好意思，他又要再稍微夸大臭屁一下。他知道他应该是要比较谦虚，可是这一瓶又赢得全秘鲁，甚至旧金山的金牌，秘鲁的第1名。”
Can we go for the third? Please go. The beauty of Mosto Verde, and last night we were with Jonathan and some friends, a bar in Taichung. It's called Bar Anew. The guest bartender was Little T. Chai tea? Little T? Shelty, Mark. I was really surprised. I am a judge in international competitions for cocktails, and the 3 drinks that he prepared last night were absolutely fabulous.
薛尔先生，因为我昨天晚上跟薛尔先生下台中，然后那时候刚好台中有一间酒吧叫做 Art and New， 他那个时候刚好在举办 Pisco 的客座调酒师，大家不一定大家，可是小 T 哥这个调酒师，小 T 调酒师，他相信蛮多人知道他的名号。他曾经在蒂亚吉欧的世界的 World Class 有得过冠军。他昨天晚上在酒吧里面客座3杯调酒，3杯，因为休尔先生他自己本身其实在世界各地都有在当 Pisco 调酒的评审。他说昨天晚上那3杯是非常美好、非常完美的。
So for you bartenders, mixologists, restaurant owners that are here, any cocktail that you put gin, vodka, rum, or tequila, give us a chance. Try it. Last night we did it with a Bloody Mary. There was a lady having a regular Bloody Mary, and then we invited her. I said, make her exactly the same recipe, but don't say anything, take a vodka and put in Porton. And she was surprised. The drink was very good. So trust us. What Pisco Porton does to a cocktail, it adds complexity, adds character. It does. You guys are the professionals. You, trust me, please, give it a try, work with it. You're going to be very surprised on the beautiful things you can create.
现场在座有几位是调酒师，有些是专门在品酒的。希望你们可以让 Pisco 有个机会，把伏特加、朗姆酒、琴酒这些你们常用到的基酒，有些你们可以把它拿来取代，用 Pisco 来取代。像昨天晚上我们在酒吧旁边有位小姐，她用了血腥玛丽，她点一杯血腥玛丽。我们在旁边跟吧台讲说，你帮她做一杯完全一模一样的配方，只是把伏特加拿掉，改成 Pisco， 然后那女生就是请那个小姐喝，那小姐喝马上惊艳说，这个为什么蛮好喝的，甚至会比原本的还好喝。Pisco 它对调酒的功效并不是只有加酒精，它是会增加它的香气，毕竟你刚刚喝它的花香跟它的复杂度、它的层次感都会很有帮助。所以徐尔先生拜托大家给 Pisco 一个机会，不要只用伏特加、朗姆酒跟琴酒那些常见的基酒。
Let's go to the third sample. Again, first thing you do, go to the second sample, the one just you had before, and smell it.
大家现在先把第2杯拿起来。
The middle sample, the second, please.
第2杯，中间那一杯。
Smell it.
先闻一下中间那一杯。
Don't drink it, just smell it.
不用喝，就闻就好了。
Okay, now put it down, and now smell the third.
然后现在闻第3杯。
differences?
有觉得有差别吗？
What we're drinking now, unfortunately, is another gold winner.
很不幸的，你现在喝的又是另一支得到金牌的酒。
I'm sorry. I apologize for all my medals, but what we have here is 4 different piscos. Normally we say it's 3, I say it's 4 because there's one that I add because I love to put in a little bit always of alvilla into it. This is a natural. This blend is my blend. This is the way I like it. So this has 80% quebranta. It has 14% Torontel, 5% alvilla, and 5% Italia, and 1% alvilla. Why? Because that's the way I want to do. That's the way I like it, and I'm the owner. Don't ask me why.
现在大家喝的第3杯，它是一个 Pisco Acholado。Acholado 代表我们刚刚有提到说它是混合葡萄种的意思。这一瓶里面混了4种，应该是3种，可是它现在有4种。它80%是库巴达葡萄，就是你们刚刚前面2杯喝的葡萄种，有14%是特浓情葡萄。特浓情葡萄，有些人在喝葡萄酒可能会听过这个葡萄种。再来有5%是意大利葡萄，有1%是阿尔比亚葡萄。他会说为什么他会这样做？因为他是主人，他是蒸馏师，他想要怎么做他的 Pisco， 他觉得怎样最好喝，但是他加的是不要问。
And maybe next year I might play around and do it a little bit different. But this one, on top of the medals we win in Peru, in 2014, in the China World Spirits, won the gold medal.
这一瓶酒在2013年的时候，在中国的世界烈酒竞赛也拿下了金牌。
Now, we smelt it. We have, it's a difference, right, from the other one?
跟另外一杯有
It's
差
almost
别。
a verde, one of them.
虽然说2个都是 Mosto Verde， 都是半发酵。
Harry, you find anything different? Jasmine, flowers, rose petals, mango, pineapple, tropical fruits. Why? Because this is quebranta, a very non-aromatic type of pisco. Here I put about 25%, 20% of muscats, Torontel, Italia, and Alvilla, aromatic grapes. These smell like ripe mangoes, ripe pineapple, raisins, lychee, jasmine. If you go into it, you're going to find a lot of beautiful aromas inside.
大家这2杯，第2杯跟第3杯比起来，第2杯它是用库班达葡萄，它其实是最没有香气的葡萄种。可是第3杯里面，它除了80%的库班达葡萄之外，它加了20%的麝香葡萄家族里面的特浓情、意大利还有阿尔比亚葡萄。它这些带来的是茉莉、热带水果、芒果、凤梨，很多都是花花果果的味道，所以它的味道会跟第2杯差的非常多。
So we're going to try it again. Again, like liquid honey, like velvet, the smoothness, it just goes down with a softness, with a, it just opens up in the mouth and it comes in and just coats smoothly your throat. It really goes down, caressing, no aggressiveness, and it is 43% alcohol.
就说它很像液态的蜂蜜一样，就是很纯水的蜂蜜一样，非常的柔顺，像丝柔那种丝绸一样。喝下去的时候，它会整个在你的喉咙跟口腔香气会整个展开来。下去的时候非常不像一个43度该有的烈度的酒，它的顺口感非常的好。
The problem is that you want to drink more.
唯一的问题就是你只会想喝更多。
So it's very good. So these are 3 of the what Jonathan wanted us to do here is to try 3 different types and 3 different categories of piscos, which is I think very important. These are the 3 piscos that Michael is bringing into Taiwan, and as I said, I am very proud of what I produce. They're very good. But if you go to a liquor store in Lima, you will find that I have a lot of Mosto Verdes. I make 1 100% of each grape. Torontel, Italia. So there's, in that last pisco we tried, there's 80% Quebranta, there is 4% Italia, there is 15% Torontel, and 1% Albilla. That is the blend I use. Maybe next year I'll change a little bit, and my Cholado will be different, because as it is my nose that decides what goes into the bottle. If I find that my Moscatel this year is better, then I'll put a little Moscatel inside, just plain.
这3种 Pisco， 今天大家喝的3种是我们目前台湾我们有带进来的3种 Pisco。比如说你到秘鲁当地的烟酒专，就是当地卖酒的地方，你会看到8种 Pisco，8种的 Pisco 活动，这个品牌的 Pisco， 就图片上面讲的。每一年的葡萄，毕竟跟葡萄酒一样，每一年葡萄的品质有好有坏。他说今年就是像我刚才讲的，给库班达、特浓情、意大利跟阿尔比亚葡萄，今年是这样子。如果说明年他的麝香葡萄他觉得特别棒，他就会把麝香葡萄也加进去。所以每一年的 Acholado 会看葡萄的品质而去改变它每一年的 Pisco Acholado 的味道，都有一点点的改变。
I appreciate very much the effort that Michael, his wife, Jonathan. Yes, Harry.
May I have 2 questions?
Only 2, huh? wait until can I have a little more? Or can I have this one? Okay, I have 10 to.
就利用你好，免得你没有事情。那个他刚才讲那个 Acholado 是他只有讲说只能半发酵跟半发酵混合，全发酵跟全发酵混合，会不会有全发酵跟半发酵的混合这一种啊？这是第一个问题。第二，
我先问，
你先问。
开始。Pisco Acholado， 我说的 Pisco Acholado 不好，就是。
No.
Why?
Because you're mixing 2 different worlds. You could, okay, you want to do it at home, do it at home. But you're mixing one type of piscos with another type of piscos, right? So it is, you don't gain, don't forget, Harry, that if you're going to make an Acholado and you have 8 grapes, you have a fantastic Torontel, you have a fantastic Italia, and you have a fantastic Moscatel. You put them together, the 3, and you make them Acholado, and it tastes terrible. Why? Because it's different personalities. Each grape has a different personality. So you have to look for the balance on how she is going to behave when you mix her with her. And how she is going to react if she comes into the game. Right? So you put them in, what I do is, in my case, I have all my Toronteles in my tanks, all my Italians in my tanks. Then Carmen, my right hand at the distillery, Metro de Che, comes in and says, okay, Mr. Shooter, what is the tanks smelling my piscos? I said, okay, Carmen, start. 50% Quebranta, put 5% Negra Criolla, put 5% Alvilla, put 5% Italia. Each one is a national champion, but I don't like the blend. Don't blend to make something bad, blend to make something better. And we have individually fabulous piscos. It's very difficult to make a blend that is better than its parts. Okay? So, why, if you have Mostoveroles, which is ultra premium, why are you going to mix ultra premium with a premium? Make Acholados of premiums and make Acholados of ultra premiums.
帮大家稍微简短一下，就是说，半发酵的 Pisco 不可以跟全发酵的 Pisco 混在一起。如果你要，你可以，你回家自己拿1瓶全发酵，1瓶半发酵，自己在家里混。 因为这2种 Pisco 是2个完全不一样的世界，全发酵是全发酵的世界，半发酵是半发酵的世界。虽然上面的8种 Pisco 除了 Achuelo 之外，剩下7种，每个都是有得过奖牌的交响乐团。右边是风琴，左边是鼓，中间还有一些小提琴、中提琴。你要哪一边大声？你要这边风琴大声一点，还是你要那个鼓小声一点、快一点、慢一点？小提琴明显一点？这整个就是像一个交响乐团一样，你要去如何去让每一个人的特色出来，到最后才非常的和谐，做出一个 Pisco Achuelo。
I'll share a little anecdote. The only grape that I don't have is Negra Criolla. This is the only grape that I don't have in my vineyards. I have to buy. I wasn't going to make it because I didn't have it, but 3 years ago, 3 years ago, a friend of mine came and said, Johnny, do me a favor, help an old man that has up in the mountains a small vineyard and nobody bought his grapes. So they are late harvest, they overripened and they shrunk and what am I going to buy that? It's no production. Yeah, but do me a favor, he's an old man that I like very much. And all right, so I drove about 3.5 hours. We went to see the grapes. I tasted the grape. It was almost raisin, and I bought it.
其实它庄园里面唯一没有种一种葡萄叫做克里欧亚黑葡萄。他原本没有打算要做成 Pisco， 因为他没有这个葡萄。但是有一天他的朋友都跟他讲说：“徐伟先生，我有个我很喜欢的一个老先生，他住在山上，他种一小片的葡萄园，他就是种这种葡萄，你可以跟他买葡萄来做 Pisco。”徐伟讲说：“为什么要？”然后拜托帮个忙。他说：“我很喜欢他一个老人家，然后他要自己种葡萄，没人要跟他买，所以他的葡萄常常会放到已经有点干掉，有点像。”像葡萄干的感觉，已经很干了，所以徐伟先生说：“好吧，那我去看一下。”他开3个小时的车上山，吃了1颗，他就跟他买了。
So I brought it in to the distillery, and Carmen looks at it. Huh? Shit! What do you want that for?
所以他就把那些葡萄带回去他们的蒸馏厂，然后他的助手卡门看到那个葡萄，就像刚刚徐伟先生反应一样。天啊，这是什么东西？为什么你要那个东西
So this is a huge truck. I don't know, it's about 18 tons or 12 tons of these grapes coming in. So I tell Carmen, we are going to make Pisco out of that. A late harvest Pisco. So instead of having a Pisco that needed 10 kilos of grapes to make, we had to make it with 20 kilos. And we only produced the Pisco. It was very good.
当时那台车进来，并不是像你开一台修理车后面载几篮几箱这样，它是载了将近15吨的葡萄进来，所以他的助手就很傻眼，为什么你这么多葡萄，然后又长得那么丑，黑黑干干巴巴的？然后修理就说我们要把这拿来做 Pisco。做出来原本只需要用10公斤的葡萄做1瓶，有那种葡萄已经没什么汁，已经没什么水了，他们要用到20公斤的葡萄才可以做到1瓶，可是味道却非常的好。
I walk into the distillery one day, and Carmen says, Don Johnny, I want you to try your Negra Criolla. Tell me if it's ready for bottling. So I went to the tank, and I like to thread to smell with my fingers. Because it evaporates the alcohol. Do it. It's alcohol. It's not going to do anything wrong to you. So clean your fingers anyway.
手指头，如果手指上没有味道，你可以直接沾一沾，在你手上。
But as the alcohols evaporate, the aromas stay.
你甩一甩，搓一搓，手指头热度会把酒精蒸发，闻一下，它的味道慢慢出来。
Everything begins to come out.
葡萄干、草、稻草的味道会慢慢出来。如果你们刚刚点的是第2杯的话
And look at the raisins at the end. The raisins at the end, you feel it, right? Right. So I go to the tank. I open the tank and I put my fingers and begin to smell. Carmen says, Mr. Johnny, is it ready for bottling? Wait, Carmen, wait.
问他说，到底可不可以中品？
Mr. Johnny, come on, is it ready for bottling? Wait, Carmen, a minute, wait.
他助手就是问他到底可不可以中品？我说等一下。
So I finally come back and say, okay, Carmen, how many liters do we have? She says, 5,000 liters, Mr. Johnny. Don't bottle, I'll drink it all.
然后就问他助手说，所以我们这种 Pisco， 我们就是我刚才讲的那个山上的老人种的葡萄的 Pisco， 到底可以装几瓶？然后总有几公升？卡文就说有大概5000公升。徐就说好，那不要装了，我要把它喝掉。
And I'm drinking it all. It's really, really wonderful. But let's go the way I work my distillery, right? We are very proud that we're the youngest, the newest distillery in Peru, but we have the honor of being today the most awarded distillery in the history of Peru.
虽然说我们的蒸馏厂是新盖的一座新的蒸馏厂，也是秘鲁最年轻的一个蒸馏厂，但是我们的 Pisco 却是全秘鲁奖项最多的 Pisco。
Again, I want to thank Gabriel, thank you very much. Patty, thank you. Michael and his wife, thank you very much for trusting us and for bringing the product to Taiwan and to the rest of Asia, because he is our distributor for all of Asia. And of course, my heir, he is going to inherit all my knowledge of Pisco. This man knows almost as much as I do. Now he has to learn how to drink it as much as I do. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
I want to help Italia Pisco to come to Taiwan, because for now I am bartender and I know Pisco program don't have Italia or Toronto in Taiwan.
Yes, we've been talking about it with Michael, and what we feel honestly is that it is going to the initial effort that we want to do is we want to introduce you to Pisco, to Porton and Caramelo. And once we can establish that you will begin to use it, then we will begin to bring the other different varietals of Piscos, because there's so many of them that it's very difficult to choose which one to bring, right? So like in the United States, this year I'm sending Torontel after 6 years of being in the market, because I didn't want to, I feel that it is a complicated product because nobody knows about it, right? Now you know, and you're going to work with it. Give us some time for the market, for the bartenders, the mixologists, to get used to the product, and then we will bring, I will even send you maybe 6 bottles of Negra Criolla, if you will do well.
因为现在目前台湾的市场对 Pisco 非常的陌生。因为刚刚那位先生他问到说，有意大利葡萄跟特浓型葡萄，目前台湾还没有上市，那什么时候会进来？丘尔先生回答是说，目前因为市场才刚接触到 Pisco， 像美国的市场6年来 ，Pisco 不论进美国的市场6年来都也只有阿丘巴的一种 Pisco 而已，直到今年他才要进第2种 Pisco 进去。主要是因为市场对 Pisco 非常陌生，他希望大家先熟悉。因为其实如果你要一个人忽然间去到一间卖酒的店，看到8种 Pisco， 没有人会知道到底该买哪一个。所以我们现在是慢慢的先让市场熟悉 Pisco， 喜欢 Pisco， 会开始想要研究它，我们再慢慢的带不同的葡萄种，我们觉得可以慢慢渐进式的方法来让大家认识到所有的 Pisco。
We understand that it is a new product, right? We understand that we are new in the Taiwan market. But we are asking you to trust us. Trust first Pisco for Peru. I'm not going to talk about the other guys down at the bottom over there. They're no good. But trust our product. Trust Piscos from Peru. There's a lot of Piscos that will be coming in to the different markets. Smell them, taste them, evaluate them. Right? But in our case, be sure that what we are bringing to Taiwan, what Michael is bringing to Taiwan, my products always are going to be the best I can produce. This is what I can guarantee you.
因为目前 Pisco 在台湾算是个非常新的酒，对台湾的酒市场来讲 ，Pisco 是一个非常年轻的一个酒，大家才刚认识到 Pisco， 所以希望大家可以相信我们 Pisco， 尤其是我们秘鲁的 Pisco， 而不是南方那个国家的 Pisco。所以希望大家可以慢慢来相信我们秘鲁的 Pisco， 而且尤其是 Schuller 先生他自己的品牌，他保证他的 Pisco 绝对是。
Sorry, we have a question.
我有3个问题，都是关于制成的问题。一次问吗？一次问题。好，一次问题还是一次问3个？一次问1个。第一个刚刚有讲到说发酵嘛，它是一个很大的 tank 去发酵的，然后它会把它分成2种，甜的跟不甜的。那它是用天然发酵的，所以它是批次性的做发酵，还是说连续式的做发酵？然后它发酵时间大概是多长的时间？这是第一个问题。
The fermentation.
Fermented in tanks. Do you ferment it by batches, or do you continuously ferment the whole tank? How long do you ferment?
The process of fermentation is I have 4 different vineyards, right? 2 are at the entrance of the Ica Valley, and 2 are 30 kilometers at the other side of the Ica Valley. So the climate and the terroir are different. People say, no, it's the same thing. No, it's different. So I harvest from one vineyard, Quebranta, goes into 1 tank. I harvest from this vineyard, Quebranta, it goes to another tank. I harvest from that vineyard, Quebranta, it goes to another tank. I harvest from that vineyard, Quebranta, it goes to another tank. I feel that each region, the grapes, my way of making Pisco is different, non-traditional. They call me the crazy Pisco man, right? Because I talk to Pisco. I talk to Pisco and I have a conversation. Hi baby, how you doing? Good, very good, yeah. Okay, I talk to Pisco. So, once I have the grapes in the tank, natural fermentation begins because there's wild yeasts in there. The tank is open because you need oxygen to generate fermentation. We let the fermentation complete. In the case of the Pisco Puro, we take that tank to a still and we make 1 Pisco of that vineyard. Then we take 1 from here, we distill it, we make another Pisco, we take a tank from there, we distill it, and we take a tank. Because each different vineyard is going to produce at a different time. Maturity of a grape, you have to harvest the day that you feel the grape is perfect. So every day you're eating it. 5 more days. 2 more days. Tomorrow morning, 120 people go into the field. 5 o'clock in the morning before the sun comes out. You don't want the grape hot to the sip. You want it cold because otherwise you have fermentation. You bring it in and then each tank. Once that one's ready, I taste it. Okay, you're ready. You're ready? Carmen, mix this too. No. She needs 1 more week. That one, ready, makes this 3. And I begin to, right? That's the way I work. Different. But I think each grape, each one of my vineyards is a different personality. Each one of my vineyards is like different music. One is rock and roll, the other is classic, the other is, right? Each one has its own type.
So is there average time? So for fermentation, average time for 2 weeks or several days?
Yes. Now, fermentation normally lasts between 5 and 7 days. Don't forget, it has to be spontaneous, natural fermentation. So now that you're working, we have catwalks on the top of the tanks. So you're walking on top of the tank and you're looking down there. Start. Hey, start. Hey, start, start! Because fermentation starts, natural at least, sometimes it takes 1 day, 2 days, then it starts, and sometimes, boom, 1 hour later, fermentation begins. So it's about 5 days.
那第二个问题跟第三个问题比较简单。第二个问题就是，他刚刚他就说 distillery to proof， 就是蒸馏到酒精度嘛。那有没有规定 Pisco 的最低酒精度是多少？法规上？
我可以简单说一下。There are norm for the lowest.
Yes, which I don't agree with. Pisco, according to the norm, is from 38 degrees to 38% alcohol to 48% alcohol. To reach 38% alcohol, you have to sacrifice quality. So for me, any Pisco below 40 is no good. Because you're letting the tail, the last part of your still, go in. And that normally has aromas of acetone, diesel fuel, and you don't want that in the Pisco. So underneath 40, I don't like it. So I want to change the norm and put minimum 40. And instead of 48 on the top, I want to open it. Because as we were talking with Harry, last night we had Kailiung that was Kailiung. That was 52. Beautiful. In my distillery, I can give you a Pisco that's 60. That's beautiful, but it's against the law. It's against the norm. Why? Because I cut it very high. Clean. Take it out of there. Perfect, right? Beautiful. The norm says 48. I don't accept it. Let me open because it's my money. That's more expensive. If somebody's going to buy it, it's my problem. But don't cap me. Don't put me at top.
我再一次3个问题。
就是刚刚有讲到 tail 酒尾嘛，所以它的酒头跟酒尾会像威士忌一样再回来去做蒸馏吗？
It doesn't go back to the other batch.
No. The head will go. The head is maybe, don't forget that the cut is made by smell. There's no thermometer that measures in what moment we cut. There's somebody always cut. So we cut the head. We start the body. The head I will put in the next batch, right? So once, as it starts flowing at about 72, 73 degrees, 72% alcohol at the beginning, it goes down. There's less sugar, less alcohol, less sugar, less alcohol. When it reaches about 30% alcohol, 29% alcohol, I cut. Because this volume is going to make my 43% alcohol. And as I cut, and I don't have time, I have no tails. I open the valve and out. I don't continue distillation. So I have no tails.
So
I throw the tails away.
So start distillery in 72% alcohol, just in one distillation, or twice? Once 72. It's very high alcohol.
Yeah, it's very simple. Water evaporates at sea level. Water at level 8 evaporates at sea level at 100 degrees centigrade. Alcohol evaporates at sea level at 78.
Okay.
So the first vapors that are coming out are 78 degrees alcohol. Simple as that.
Thank you very much.
我总结一下施老师刚刚问的3个问题。第一个问题是发酵的问题，他问说发酵的时候是3号发酵还是一次发酵，然后再是发酵几天？这个问题回答是说，葡萄其实它有4个葡萄园，刚刚讲过，每一个葡萄园的气候其实有点不太一样，有些可以相隔超过30公里，每一个地方的土壤也其实都不太一样，所以他会把每一个地方，比如说他拿库班达举例，他4个葡萄园都有库班达，每一个都抽一点出来，它味道它会单独每一个葡萄园的库班达都会放在单独的一个桶子里面，让它去发酵。发酵出来，它会去品尝它的味道，它会再去单独拿去蒸馏，再拿来混在一起。然后至于发酵的天数呢，它是采说，因为其实自然惰性发酵并不是加酵母进去，所以它没办法控制它到底什么时候才会发酵。也许很快1个小时它就开始发酵，有的时候可能1天2天它才开始发酵，所以平均来讲大概是5到7天的时间让它发酵。再来第2个问题是问到说 Pisco 有没有最低的浓度限制？休尔先生讲说有，秘鲁是有规定38度到48度之间的 Pisco 才可以的酒体才可以叫 Pisco。可是休尔先生非常不喜欢这个规定，因为他说38度太低，38度你要做到38度，你一定会混到更多的酒尾，酒尾进去的时候会有更多的去光水，一些很臭的味道进去，所以他个人认为40度以上的 Pisco 才会比较香。至于最顶端48度，休尔先生也不喜欢，因为他觉得48度你限制我的度数干嘛？我开放上面的度数，我可以蒸馏到50度、60度。我上面酒头取的更多，它那个酒精浓度越强，香气越好。那你为什么要限制在我48度？所以休尔先生想要改变，他现在在努力改变秘鲁的法令，想要把最低38提到40，上面48，可以的话提到50、50几，可是最好是完全不要限制最高度数。再来第3个问题是提到说，酒头酒尾的问题，他问休尔先生说，酒尾会不会再到下一个批次继续蒸馏？休尔先生说不会，只有酒头，他会把酒头丢到下一个批次去蒸馏，蒸馏出来，他结酒尾的时候，因为他很多 Pisco 要蒸馏，所以他直接丢掉，就酒尾就直接丢掉，直接进行下一批次的 Pisco 的蒸馏。休尔先生有提到说，他为什么可以一次蒸馏到43度？原因是因为他酒头结一点点起来。上面酒头开始出来的时候，大概72度左右，70几度，开始蒸馏到最后，大概会只剩下30度左右的酒精的时候，它就截取中间酒精，那些混合起来就是43度。之所以为什么一次蒸馏可以达到这么高，是因为在海平面的高度的时候，水蒸发的温度是100度，酒精是70度。所以酒精会先蒸发，所以我们在煮的时候，酒精先蒸发的时候，酒精浓度会非常高，所以才会达到非常高的酒精浓度。慢慢的加热水开始也蒸发了，酒精浓度越来越少，里面的酒精也越来越少，所以才可以达到前面高后面低，混合起来的43度。所以很多人都会问我这个问题：为什么你可以一次蒸馏就可以到43度 ？Whisky 一次蒸馏24度，2次蒸馏才可以到70、80度，为什么你一次就可以到43度？这就是原因。谢谢。还有问题吗？
因为刚刚提到，就是我觉得最有趣的就是它最后熟成的容器是水，那这大概是我们所有蒸馏酒里面就是几乎很少见。我想说，那它用水泥的原因，或者是它有什么样的特性，还是说它会营造什么样的风味？还有就是它Pisco是以前就用这个容器吗？还是慢慢才调上去？
No. Cement is only the exterior. The interior is lined with a material that will not transfer any color, flavor, taste, or aroma. Why I use concrete is very simple. You touch that. Cold. Touch the wall. Warm. Right? If I put Pisco into that, my Pisco is going to close. Right? If I put the Pisco into that, Well, traditionally it was the piscos, the old botijas, right? And then the cubas de guarda. Mine are 50,000 liters. The ones that are used normally is 1,500 liters. Small ones. I use, because of the size of my production, bigger ones.
刚刚问题是说，为什么徐尔先生成年的容器是用水泥，而且说以前古代到现在的 Pisco 的容器是什么？只是说水泥是因为它并不是说整个都是水泥，它是外面那一层是水泥，里面是用特别的材质，不会去改变任何颜色、味道的材质。为什么用水泥？是因为你摸，像刚刚他徐尔有请大家摸桌上的钢桶，它是很冰很冰的，摸墙壁。墙壁有太阳照射，墙壁会是热的，因为水泥会保温，所以这种情况下，冰的 Pisco 味道会锁住，葡萄香气在成年的过程中，香气不会解放出来。你在室温的温度，尤其是它在半沙漠地带，那个沙漠温度可能会到30-40度 ，Pisco 的味道会一直涌现出来。
For me, Pisco as a producer, I began in 2009. When I bought the properties, and my first production is 2011, my first production. But for the last 35 years, I've been visiting distilleries, because I was not to be a producer. I loved Pisco. I discovered Pisco very late in my life, the 40s. I was 40 years old when I owned restaurants, and when somebody said, what Pisco are we going to use? I used the cheapest. That's what everybody used. Because when I would smell it, how can people drink that shit? Ah! Until I discovered Pisco. One day, what's this? Whoa. And my life changed. And for 35 years, I traveled to distilleries, and I asked questions. Juanita, tres generaciones. She is 87 or 88 years old. Juanita, why is your Pisco, the nose, a little bit nicer than the Pisco over there? Oh, Johnny, because I do this. And I would go to Lucho Pisconte. Oye, Lucho, can you tell me why your Pisco? So I learned because of my passion for Pisco. Not because I was going to be a producer, but because I loved Pisco. I'm a producer only 7 years ago, that's all. Right? But I never knew that those 30 years that made me become somehow the expert in Pisco in the world, at the end I was going to be producing Pisco. It was not my intention.
徐尔生说他之前其实很晚才接触到 Pisco， 他并不是从小就喝 Pisco 长大，他甚至在30几岁、40岁以前，去餐厅有人问他要不要喝 Pisco， 要喝哪一种 Pisco， 他会说最便宜的就好，反正大家都不喜欢喝 Pisco， 很难喝。直到有一天我喝到一杯，他让他惊艳，他发现，为什么这个 Pisco 会特别好？他从此爱上 Pisco。他在2009年之前，并不是制作 Pisco 的一个蒸馏师，他是热爱 Pisco、研究 Pisco 的狂热分子。他到拜访秘鲁全部的酒庄，他到了一间有一个87岁的奶奶在那边做 Pisco， 他喝了一口，我说，为什么你这一个鼻子闻起来味道会比另外一支的 Pisco 还要好？那个老奶奶就回答他说，因为我这样做，还要我去问另外一间，他就是保持这种热情，这种爱 Pisco 的心，去跑遍秘鲁，去了解 Pisco， 去学 Pisco， 想不到他竟然会成为，不知道为什么会变成最懂 Pisco 的人，变成 Pisco 专家。可是刚好在这份热情，也可以帮助到他现在在制作 Pisco。
I am a traditionalist, and I like things to be done the way they were done. But I will implement things like stainless steel, temperature controls, just to modernize. That's why I said at the beginning, artisanal. I am the only.
他虽然说他是一个完美主义的人，他很喜欢把 Pisco 做到他该有的样子，但是他有时候也是会试一些别的东西，比如说他还是会用不锈钢桶。所以他刚刚一开始讲说，他是一个科技，他又是一个很传统、很艺术的一间酒庄。现场还有问题吗？
我可以问那个半发酵跟完全发酵，因为它那个图啊，半发酵然后到完全发酵，因为发酵是5到7天，对，那所以半发酵看9分钟到了，然后再到完全发酵，大概时间的比例会固定吗？还是也
是说半发酵到完全发酵？
对。
What's the difference between very slow when you ferment because it's fresh muscle, say you find 7 days and then it's
at the 4th day, I take Mosto Verde. Okay. At the 7th day, I take Pisco.
第4天会拿Mosto Verde半发酵的出来，第7天会拿完全发酵的 Pisco 出来，那个葡萄酒。
There's no rule because it depends on temperature, outside temperature, inside temperature, the yeast, the amount of sugar. So nature has funny ways of working. So it's each tank at its own time.
So it depends. No rule.
因为毕竟 Pisco 是葡萄做的，所以它的一些决定性，什么时候该好，什么时候还没好，是完全大自然的决定，并不是像我们有些是加人工的酵母菌进去让它去发酵，它是完全自然的，所以每一缸的发酵汁的那个葡萄酒都不一样，要看温度，有时候要看它承载它的葡萄甜度，每一缸的其实都非常不一样，所以做 Pisco 并不是自己想做怎么做的，它是要搭配大自然的一些环境的一些力量来一起做。
As I told you in the interview, it's part art, part science, part chemistry, but the most important, it's a lot of love. That's what it takes.
除了刚刚一开始有讲到的是有结合科技，有结合关于一些艺术的一些比较传统的，结合很多元素，而最重要的元素还是你必须要对 Pisco 的热爱。现场还有问题吗？如果没有的话，后面有帮大家准备 Pisco Sour。后面准备 Pisco Sour 可以让大家试喝，可以让他喝，因为后面 Pisco Sour 其实是秘鲁非常传统的一个 Pisco 的调酒，它是1921年的时候一个叫做 Victor Morris 的先生，美国人到了秘鲁，那个时候他做的是 Whisky Sour， 大家都知道 Whisky Sour， 没有 Whisky 怎么办？在秘鲁那边种最多 ，Pisco 最多，就变 Pisco Sour， 直到从那时候开始到现在 ，Pisco Sour 在秘鲁是最经典、最招牌，就是。到哪里都可以喝到 Pisco Sour 的一个调酒，所以现在大会结束之后，后面有很多杯，大家可以过去后面拿一杯来喝。还有问题吗？没有问题的话，就请大家到后面去喝Pisco Sour。